I feel like calling myself a Naruto fan is kind of an understatement, because not only have I read the original manga and gotten a Naruto tattoo, I've watched the 12 and a half full actual days of Naruto's visual media. Yeah, that's the real number. It's 18,084 minutes of Naruto's episodes, movies, and specials. I say all that so that I can say this: I know a thing or two about Naruto. So believe me when I say this guy makes some pretty good points in defense of one of Naruto's plot devices. The same plot device that elevates Naruto from being a show about some ninjas fighting into a goddamn masterpiece.
I wouldn't call Naruto a masterpiece because of this.
No, trust me, it actually is. The author does a very good job explaining the plot device itself and his defense for it in his opening statements.
I am, of course, referring to Talk no Jutsu, Naruto's supernatural ability to defeat any opponent and completely change their ideology just by talking to them. Each successful instance of Talk no Jutsu was supported both by Naruto's actions and the past experiences of his opponent. On top of that, each one of his foes had an apparent contradiction in their ideals that Naruto forced them to recognize, and it was the contradictions that led them to change their perspective. Not lazy, overly optimistic writing, not the power of friendship, but the antagonist's own hypocrisy.
This plot device certainly has its critics.
For some, it's the worst part of Naruto. For others, it's a big meme.
But to me, it's one of the most interesting parts of the show, and I'm clearly not alone.
The same goes with Talk no Jutsu. Perhaps it doesn't align to your particular tastes, but Naruto isn't worse off for having its antagonists change their ideals in the end. If anything, the series is all the more interesting for having crafted this narrative through line. Anybody can write a fight scene where two people punch each other until one guy falls down, but it takes at least a bit of creativity to craft complex, compelling characters that consistently conform to contradictory conduct.
The author tends to follow the narrative when using examples to defend his argument, until he gets to my personal favorite character.
The current me is the one who wanted to be Hokage, Obito Uchiha.
Sasuke Uchiha, the show's main rival character, attempts to face Naruto after his ideological victory versus Obito, and
that's why he had lost before the battle even began. With that being said, Naruto's previous ideological opponent didn't go down so easily, and much like Sasuke, he served as a culmination of everything Naruto had faced beforehand.
The author of the video really does save the best for last, because Obito, to me, is one of the best parts of the show. His character development and redemption rivals that of everybody else's favorite scarred, edgy bad boy turned good.
It became obvious that he was just another twisted reflection of Naruto. What set him apart from Naruto's previous opponents, however, was the dynamic of their fight. While Naruto was searching for Obito's hypocrisy, Obito was looking for Naruto's.
You ever try calling somebody else out but actually get yourself in the process?
So instead of testing Naruto, he wound up testing himself. As Naruto was continually validated, Obito's will started to weaken.
Obito trips himself up so goddamn hard that he loses the fight. Obito was too busy thinking that he had wasted much of his life, something soon-to-be graduating college students might sympathize with.
And as Obito lay defeated on the battlefield, he finally confronted his hypocrisy and acknowledged this hope once again.
Doesn't that sound like a poetic end to a character arc? Well, guess what? His doesn't even end there. He gets to keep being cool because of said plot device. To wrap up, yes, Talk no Jutsu might be a little too optimistic for sad cynics with no hope, but I believe the author says it best when he says,
"You can certainly disagree with the optimism Kishimoto presents, but at no point is it ever inconsistent or problematic. The same goes with Talk no Jutsu.
And honestly, without it, a character I may or may not have cosplayed as for Comic-Con wouldn't be nearly as cool."